So let me set the stage here. Valentine's Day, heading into Valentine's Day. I'm doing a bunch of t-shirts and whatnot, and all of a sudden my heat press shits the bed. So it totally crapped out on me. Now I didn't have a top of the line heat press, so I had something that was like, you know, the $200 heat press off of Amazon and whatnot. But I couldn't get by without it. You know, I needed something because I was headed into Valentine's Day to replace what I had just lost. So I'm on OfferUp, I'm on Facebook Marketplace, I'm on Amazon looking for a replacement. My problem with Amazon is you just didn't know when you were gonna get the damn thing, and I need it like right now. Facebook Marketplace, there was like people like selling it, but not really selling it. It had already sold and they just didn't bother to take it down, or they just ghosted you. Same thing on OfferUp, like no response. So I'm dying here. I've got to get a replacement or I'm not gonna be able to finish like all my Valentine's Day stuff, right? So I'm looking around and I look at Michael's website, like Michael's Crafts, and I find a heat press that's local, that's like right down the street. Now, I don't know anything about this particular heat press, but I had to get it. So I went ahead and bought it. I've been using it for a month, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's that sucker right there. That's kind of the handle. But yeah, so I've been using it for a month, and so I thought, you know what? Maybe I should do a review on this, right? So I'm gonna tell you guys what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and all that sort of good stuff so that you can decide if you wanna buy it yourself. All right, so here it is in all its glory, red and white. And the brand is Siser or Siser. I'm not sure. I probably should have looked up the correct way to pronounce it, but I did not. So, but you get the point. That's how it's spelled, so you can look it up. Like I said, I got this from Michael's, the craft store online, and I just did local pickup. You can have it shipped and whatnot as well. So anyways, this is model number CP912-120. So that's the model number if you want to look it up. And I will tell you kind of what I dig about it and what I don't, and some of the things I was worried about. But let's start with the size of the platen here. So this is a 9x12 platen. It is about the size of a normal 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. That's about the size of image you can do maxed out. So if essentially you want to know if your design will fit or if it will work for the size of t-shirts you do, I would literally just take a piece of paper, lay it over a shirt flat, and see what you think and see if that's a good fit for you. And if so, then it's great. It's good for what I'm doing right now. I originally had a much larger heat press. The one that crapped out was a lot bigger, but you know, I mean, I'll probably upgrade here at some point again as far as size goes. But for now, this is doing the job. And like I said, I got this not because I was looking for it. I got it because I had to. So anyways, okay, so it has a nice little foam handle here. The foam handle feels pretty good. You know, I don't know if this is eventually just gonna kind of chip off or whatnot, but so far so good. It feels pretty good. A lot of the heat presses will have like a rubber handle, so it was kind of strange to have a foam one, but I'm hoping it holds up. I've been using this for about a little over a month now, and I haven't had any, you know, major issues or anything. So it closes fantastic. That is one thing that I really like about this. It has kind of these little hydraulics over here, and they're on both sides. And it really helps with, you know, opening and closing. I mean, you're not really gonna get fatigued using this thing if you have to do it over and over again. I mean, you know, it's pretty cake. I mean, I can close it with one finger, so that's pretty awesome. It's nice and heavy. It's not going anywhere. I didn't, you know, some heat presses you'll get, the cheap ones, they'll be a little light. And so when you close, you're constantly like pulling it forward a little bit. But this has a nice stable base. Like I said, it's heavy and it's dense for its size. So it's not going anywhere. Now, as far as pressure goes, you got this little knob right here that you crank, and it will raise and lower this portion. So that way you get a little bit more pressure. So if you need something that's, you know, requires a little bit more pressure, you can crank it down. If not, you can crank it back and you're good to go. This is the display, and the power button is actually on the back. right here. And I do not dig that that is on the back. I feel like it should be up here, and I feel like it should be, you know, accessible, essentially. So the control panel is pretty standard, you know, same as most heat presses, really confusing, which is kind of standard for a lot of heat presses. You've got a mode button. It starts with the temperature, and so this is the max temperature that I'm going up to. If you want to increase it or reduce it, you can with a plus and minus key. Hit it again, that will give you the seconds for counting down. And then if you hit it a third time, then that just brings you back to the main screen. So I guess not that confusing at all, being that it only has essentially 2 settings. But, you know, I've had heat presses that are a little bit more confusing than this, that have like 3 or 4 different modes, and just trying to figure it out. It would be super nice if it just, you know, kind of told you. I mean, I guess temp set. Well, you know, look at me being judgy. I guess it does tell you. Huh. All right, I'm a moron. I just didn't look at it. Okay, so I take that back. I take that back, because right here on the side, it tells you what's up right there. Okay, that was my fault. So still talking about the display here, the thing that I do not like is that when you lift the handle, the whole display tilts backwards. Like, I don't dig that at all, because I don't heat my heat press closed. I heat it open. And maybe I'm a weirdo, maybe I'm the only person that does that, but I don't like to excessively heat the pad, because I think over time, you know, the pad takes a little bit of damage from heat, and if you leave it in the down position constantly heating for a long period of time, I feel like it's going to affect that eventually, and you'll maybe get some cracks and some wear and stuff like that. So I always heat in the up position. And the downside of having this display turn away from you like that is when you're working on things, you can't tell if this is hot and ready to go yet. So you have to actually come over, pull it down, take a quick look and go, oh, it's not done yet. Put it up and then go back to doing your stuff. So you're constantly having to check and stuff like that. So I don't dig that. One thing that I do like that's different with this press is that it has this little magnetic switch here. And so when it's in the down position, it starts the countdown. Now my other press had a manual switch, and sometimes that switch would get misaligned. So when I'd lower it, it would be off kilter, and I would have to kind of reach under there and pop it back up. It would start buzzing like the thing was done or whatever, and it wasn't. It hadn't even, you know, it wasn't done at all. So I do like that this is a much cleaner, much simpler switch, and it's just down, and then it just starts the countdown, and so you're good to go. When I bought this, one of the things I was concerned about is, although it looks very nice, I was concerned about this red mat here. And the reason I was concerned about it is, I don't know if you've ever tossed a red sock or a red shirt or something in with a pile of white clothes. I was afraid that this was going to start rubbing off or start leaving a red ghosted image on some of my prints. But I tell you what, I've been using it for a month, and there's been 0 problems whatsoever. I've been doing all white shirts primarily. I did do some pink in there, but primarily it's been all white shirts, and I haven't had any problems with this at all. So it looks nice, and you know, it's not causing me any problems, so I really can't complain about that. So here's something else that I don't dig about it that I didn't even think of. See the countdown? Now listen to this noise. Can you hear it? High-pitched, steady. I didn't realize that this was going to freak my dog out. So it did. It actually, you know, he cowered and stuff like that. And I have a feeling that, you know, I mean, unfortunately, my dog barks a ton, and I used to live in an apartment complex at one point, so I had to put a bark collar on him at one point. I had these neighbors that were just complaining and complaining and complaining, and I had to put a bark collar on him. So that beep reminds him of the bark collar, I think. And so if you ever had a dog that either can't stand a bark collar or can't stand the sustained noise that, say, maybe a fire alarm detector makes in your house, that sort of thing, you know, I think it's just something I wasn't aware of and I didn't think about it. But my other heat press made more of a beeping noise, and my dog was fine with that. But for some reason, that sustained tone, he didn't dig it, man. And I don't know, maybe that's just me or what, but yeah, that was something that I did not expect at all. Other than that, you know, like I said, it's really well made. It feels very solid. It's not going anywhere. This is supposedly a hobby level heat press. So supposedly, you know, it's for hobbyists, so it's not meant to do volume or anything like that. But, you know, it feels good. You know, I don't have any complaints about how it's made. It feels solid, that sort of thing. It does take a while to heat up. I got to tell you that. I mean, it's a good 10, man, maybe 15 minutes to heat up. And that is kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, you're just kind of chilling and waiting. My other heat press, although it was more cheaply made, it felt like it heated up a lot faster. Consistent temperature. That is one thing that I dig about this. Once it does get up to temp, it seems to only vary by like maybe a degree every once in a while. Like it's not changing much. And you know, I'm in kind of a cool, cold warehouse and it's not changing hardly at all. So I do like that it's a nice consistent temperature. The pressure on it has been nice and consistent. So, I mean, other than that, you know, it's been a good heat press for a temporary heat press for me. Like I said, I'm gonna probably turn around and get a larger heat press at some point. I just limped around with that really basic one for a while. But you know what, if this withstands the test of time here and just keeps going, then there's really no reason to replace it. You know, I could definitely keep it around for physically smaller jobs. That would be awesome. And yeah, like I said, 8.5 by 11 sheet is about what you can do on this. So if that fits the bill for you, it's going to be a perfect press. But okay, so now we got to talk price, right? So that's the last thing we got to talk about here. Let's talk about, is it worth the money? All right, so let's talk price on this bad boy. So like I said, when I was gonna purchase this, I was in dire straits, man. I needed something quick. And so unfortunately, when I bought it, it was $349, and that felt like ouch for this size of heat press. It felt like it was a little too pricey for me. And no coupons were working on this sucker. I mean, you know, just par for the course with Michaels, you know, you can use coupon. Oh, I just sold something. Did you hear that? All right. So just par for the course with Michaels. The coupons don't work on some of the big name stuff, and it sucks because that's where you really want to be able to use it. So for me, I paid $349, and actually, to be quite honest, I'll have to go back and look at my receipt. I feel like I paid a little bit more. That might have just been the tax that I'm thinking of. But yeah, so right now, $299 on sale at Michaels. And at $299.99, I feel like that's about the price this thing should be. I would even say maybe $275 in there. For the size of the press, that's kind of where I feel it should be at. So for $299, you know, it's a good pickup. Like if you need a heat press, it feels very good and reliable, like I said. You know, you heard my complaints earlier and you heard the stuff that I dug earlier. But, you know, for trying to find a heat press last minute, I really didn't go wrong with this one, I don't think, you know, other than price. I would have liked it to be a little cheaper. But yeah, as you can see, store pickup, same day delivery, pretty cheap. Now, if you go into Michaels, you're not going to see this sucker sitting on a shelf necessarily. You'll have to ask the staff about it. It may be up on a higher shelf near the registers because that's where they kind of keep the expensive stuff like the brand new, you know, cameos and, you know, silhouettes and crickets and all that sort of heat press, vinyl cutting related stuff. You know, they usually don't keep it right on the shelf with all the other inexpensive stuff. So you may not see it when you first walk in. You know, you may want to order it right off the website and just pick it up. But yeah, it seems to be pretty available. So if you need a heat press in a pinch, I would say go for it. It's a good price right now. You can see the ratings, 4.5 stars out of 5. Hopefully that's not, you know, fake ratings, but like I said, it feels good to me. I've been using it for a month with 0 issues. So anyways, so pretty solid pickup. If you got any questions about it, feel free to ask in the comments below. Don't forget to click, like, subscribe. Man, I'm trying to grow this channel. Someday I'll make the big bucks. But no, if you'd like to see more of this stuff too, let me know. All right, I will talk to you later. Adios.